What's up, Comic Frontline? Hope you guys had a happy new year. It's Mr. J, and I am back finally after a long hiatus. I have returned, and I am here to review Infamous Iron Man issue number 3. Brian Michael Bendis, Alex Maleev, awesome cover. Infamous Iron Man is a series that I've been really enjoying as a Doctor Doom fan. Now, granted, if you're not a Doctor Doom fan, you may not like this as much. But let's get into it. First of all, unlike with International Iron Man, which this is the exact same creative team, I feel like this art, Maleev's art, matches perfectly for this. Just beautiful artwork. I want to show you, in particular, some pages where Doom reflects as his on his time as God, and these pages are absolutely beautiful. Like right here, look at that. Just great artwork. There's another one where it just shows his face. Like his face is the whole panel layout. You see the images on his glinting off his mask. I like that there are no colors here. Really cool. I love this artwork for this series. I think it fits like an iron glove. Yeah, I'm gonna be making bad puns. I'm back. You guys know how it works. So yeah, this continues right where last issue left off. The thing is ready. It's clobbering time, and so it's a tale as old as time. The Thing versus Victor Von Doom. But of course, Victor's trying to explain to Ben that things aren't the way they are. But of course, Ben's like, "You still Doom? Then I'm gonna clobber you." Like that's just how it is. You're still Doom. Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter what you say you're trying to do. Whose armor you're wearing. I'm still gonna clobber you. Like that's just how Ben is, and Victor explains that because he says to Amara, I'm his enemy. I've always been his enemy, and that's all he'll ever see me as, and I have to accept that. What I think this issue does for me personally that helps really kind of, settle it a bit more is we really start to get more of a peek at what motivates Doom and what Doom's goal is as Iron Man. And it's because his whole life he wanted power for one reason or another. He wanted power at first to save his country and then to save his mother. And then he just wanted power because he just got addicted to the idea of power. And then when he finally got a taste of ultimate power, it just wasn't enough. He didn't feel a purpose. He still felt hollow. But then when he looked at people like Reed Richards, Tony Stark, people who are heroes, he sees that, no matter what they do, no matter how many times they get beaten down, or no matter how many times Doom thinks he's won, they find a way because they have something. They have a drive. They have a purpose. And he wants that kind of purpose. He realized, if evil isn't really going to get me anywhere, why not try using that ambition I had as a villain and kind of redirect that into being a hero. And I like what he says about Tony Stark, because I've always said Doctor Doom is essentially just an evil Iron Man with magic who is super OP and rules his own country. And he even, he kind of states that here. He's like, I've always seen a better version of myself kind of in Tony Stark. Whereas, Tony, he's gone through his own turmoils and loss and all those other things. He's gained power. He's built an empire for himself. Watched that empire fall, only to rebuild it again. And yet, he still has a purpose. He has a drive. And it was because he was a hero, and I admired that about him. That's why when he was taken, from this world, Doom felt that it was his kind of a sign for him to honor that legacy by becoming Iron Man or a Iron Man. And how he wants to do it is really interesting. Because he spent so much time as a villain, he wants to use that knowledge and that insight to take down villains from the inside in a way. Because, they'll always think, Doctor Doom, but, then they'll be surprised when it turns out that Doctor Doom is actually one of the good guys, quote unquote. And it's going to be interesting to see kind of his transition period, like how obviously Doom, I don't ever buy 100% that he'll be a full-on good guy Boy Scout like old school Cyclops or old school pre-Hydra Captain America. But I want to see, it's always interesting to follow these villains that walk in the gray area, especially someone who is trying to redeem himself. I'm a sucker for a redemption arc, and that seems what this is trying to be. And again, Bendis does a lot of good progression by using dialogue, and what we have here and what Doom says kind of really opens up, at least for me, why he did it. Sure, it's a little vague, but at the same time, Doom has always been kind of the theatrical type to talk in riddles and half answers, so you can't really expect any more of than what you get from Doom. So I thought it was pretty fitting, and I want to see how his mother's going to get involved. It seems like she's going to be attacking Ben now. Like, is she going to be helping her son? Is she going to be manipulating him? Is she going to be pulling his strings? What's going to go down? Because Victor, one of the only things that Victor's ever really cared about in his entire life is his mother. So when she does reveal herself, it's going to be a pretty big thing. I'm wondering where, what that's going to lead to. A lot of good possibilities. I think these first 3 issues builds a pretty solid foundation, at least in my opinion, for what's to come for Victor Von Doom as Iron Man. But let me know what you guys think. I'm a big fan of this, but if you're not, let me know what's what issues do you have with it, or how do you think the series can improve? Likes, dislikes, all of that down in the comments below, as always. And in case you're new to the channel, and you haven't seen me before, I do have my own individual channel, Mr. J's Comic Reviews. If you go to Comic Frontline's main YouTube page, on the side there, it lists all the members' individual channels. You'll see me up there. I'd really appreciate it if you like what I do over here, you definitely will like what I do on my channel. So I would also really appreciate it if you sub over there as well and see what I have to offer. Well, until then, guys, it's been awesome. Glad to be back. Once again, Happy New Year. And like I always say, once a comic book geek, always comic book geek. And once a Doctor Doom fan, always a Doctor Doom fan. Until next time, guys, I'll catch you guys later. Peace, Frontline.